Okay, let's get out of here. Hi guys. So, is my microphone working? I got it. All right, let me know. Now I'm using my phone as a camera, my microphone as a microphone, and my computer for the overlays. So, still in testing mode. So, um, I'll fix it when I watch this back if it's not right. But if you guys let me know in the chat if it's messed up, I'll fix it. And um, so, I guess the reason, okay, I don't have my headphones on, so maybe that's the reason that I'm not used to. It doesn't sound to me like it's making like I can't tell if it sounds right or not, but that's probably because, yeah, I'm used to hearing it with my headphones. So hopefully it sounds all right. But I just wanted to jump on here because no, okay. I just wanted to jump on here because I just heard the interview with Dudley that Sweetie Pie Low did, and I just had some thoughts that I just couldn't keep to myself. And if anybody else wants to jump up and talk about it or wants to jump in chat and talk about it, but I'll show the clip where I seen it, and it's just very disturbing. To me, it paints a picture of pretty much what we've already been seeing from Dawn. And it's somebody who went to work with Dawn every day, who knew Dawn pretty well and hasn't spoken out until now. So it's pretty interesting what he had to say. Um, and so he talks about going to work every day with Dawn. And when Dawn did fire him the day before Summer goes missing, he confirmed that. And it was very confusing the way Dawn told it. So at least, now we have that confirmed in the timeline. So we know that Dawn did fire him the day before Summer goes missing. And um, Dudley says that one day when he goes up there to the property that he sees little Summer running down with her shaved head and no shirt on, and they're just kind of horrified by the sight of this. And his wife says, "That's a girl." Or no, he says to his wife, "That's a girl." She says, "Oh my gosh, that's a girl." And she says how creepy it is back there in the hauler when they're driving through there. I think everyone was just horrified at the treatment of those kids. Another thing that's just unbelievable is this. Hi, Skyzy. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. Um, Another thing that I was thinking about is they said that Dawn was making $1,800 a week. It's not unusual for him to make $1,800 a week. I don't know how much that is in Tennessee, but in Pennsylvania, where I live, that's a lot of money. And I think pretty much unless you're living in California, um, that's a lot of money. So when they talk about they weren't on welfare, they weren't getting help from the state, probably because they didn't qualify. They made enough money to take good care of those kids. The reason they didn't take good care of those kids is because they didn't want to. Um, why they didn't want to, I don't know. You know, they didn't have sheets on their beds. When Chris McDonough went down there and did that interview with Candace, she felt comfortable enough to let him down there in the basement and see those bedrooms, and I'm so grateful that he got to go down there and record that because they remodeled it when Dr. Phil went down there. Yeah. I don't think we would have ever seen what that looked like when Summer went missing had it not been for Chris McDonough to go down there. And it's like really tragic. When you see the mattresses on the floor with no sheets, and you see those bunk beds with no sheets, think about how much money Dawn was making. $1,800 a week. It's like over $5,000 a month. That $600 payment, car payment he was talking about making, that was nothing. They were making $5,000 a month. My gosh. And those kids are running around like that, dirty with, getting lice and shaved heads. Um, the the way that they were cared for had nothing to do with money. It was malice or laziness or both. And I think it has everything to do with Summer coming up missing. I think it has a lot to do with Summer coming up missing. And so then you hear him also talk about that he brought his child to work. He says he's 11, but I think he's talking about the 13-year-old boy. He brought him to work and he smoked weed with him. And that actually lines up with what Molly Golightly and the Bullhorn Betty, the people that went down to Tennessee, what they found out was that there was police calls of parents who said, "My child is up at this house and they're giving my child alcohol." And the police had to go up there because on multiple occasions, different sets of children were up there and the Wells were giving them alcohol. So they had no problem giving young children, not teenagers, 17, 18 years old. Not that I think that's right, but they weren't teenagers. These are young children, 13, 14, 11, 12, alcohol and weed. So this is just, I mean, everything about what went on in that property compound, somebody put it, and I think that's accurate. It's a compound. So then you have a little bit later, he talks about the only thing that's confusing to me, which I'm glad he confirmed that Don Wells fired him the day before Summer went missing on a Monday. And then he says the next day is June 15th, a Tuesday, and Summer goes missing. But the only thing that's confusing to me is he says the day that he got fired, he walked into the bathroom. He walked in on Dawn in the bathroom, and Dawn's on the toilet, and he's on his phone, and he's looking down at his phone as if he had lost something, as if he was devastated that he had lost something. And he said, "I think that something happened to Summer just then." So that's the only thing that confused me because how could that be if he got fired the day before? So, I mean, the way he was talking about it, he was sure that that had to do with Summer, but yet he also confirmed that he got fired the day before Summer went missing. One other thing, and I hate to throw more confusion around, and you guys, I'm gonna play this for you, and you guys can tell me what you think this means. Just a little earlier in the interview, he says, "And I had nothing to do with Summer's disappearance. I had been gone for 2 weeks before that little girl went missing." And I don't know if he means he hadn't been to Dawn's house for 2 weeks before Summer went missing, or if he was saying that he had been fired 2 weeks prior to Summer going missing. Because if that's the case, then he is contradicting what, you know, but I don't think that he means that he got fired. He can't mean he got fired 2 weeks before, because how why would he do that and then contradict himself, 10 minutes later? So, I don't know, Sky, you tell me if you think he's contradicting himself. What does he mean here when he says, "I had been gone 2 weeks before Summer went missing"? Does he mean he hadn't been to the property, or is he saying he's been fired for 2 weeks? Okay, it's at hang on a second, let me see what the timestamp is. It's at 31:22. Okay, let me share my screen. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. Share screen. It's at 31. Oh, wait, let me mute myself too, because I think last time I had an echo. Okay.
You guys catch that? Right there, you said that the day before Summer came up missing, which I guess would have been the last day that he worked for Tucker, drywalling, that Don was sitting on the toilet. Dudley walked in, and it looked Don's staring at his phone, and he's looking at his screen as if something terrible had just happened. Like he looked, I don't know, desperate, sad, very concerned, worried. So he had, from his perception, from Dudley's perception, he had seen maybe something that made him concerned, right? Um, Don wasn't acting right, in other words.
That's when I got fired. And I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You look like you lost your best friend. You know what I mean? And I believe that's when something happened to Summer, was when she was at that swimming hole, the shower at. Yeah. She still looked like a blue baby in the damn backseat leaning on the milk. I know.
Concerned, worried. So he had, from his perception, from Dudley's perception,
Okay, so um what I'm playing right now is the part where he says that he's on the toilet, and he says that this is the day before Summer goes missing. This is where he says he got fired the day before Summer goes missing. And this is where he says he walked in on Dawn, and Dawn's on the toilet, and Dawn says he says he sees Dawn seeing something, and Dawn's devastated on the toilet, which is just a strange thing to say. But the guy does actually sound kind of credible, but okay.
Summer came up missing, which I guess would have been the last day that he worked for Tucker, drywalling. That Don was sitting on the toilet. Dudley walked in and it looked Don's staring at his phone and he's looking at his screen as if something terrible had just happened. Like he looked, I don't know, desperate, sad, very concerned, worried. So he had, from his perception, from Dudley's perception, he had seen maybe something that made him concerned, right? Um, Don wasn't acting right, in other words.
That's when I got fired. And I was like, what the fuck's wrong with you? You look like you lost your best friend. You know what I mean? And I believe that's when something happened to Summer was when she was at that swimming hole. The shit I've read.
Yeah.
She still looked like a blue baby in the damn backseat waiting on the milk.
I know. People say they've tried that experiment now, having their kids lay their head on cold milk. And supposedly, I guess cold milk, kids can.
He's saying,
Okay, so doesn't that sound like he's saying, doesn't it sound like he's saying, I believe that that's when something happened to Summer at the swimming pool, but doesn't it sound like he's kind of putting it all together? Like the day that he got fired and Dawn was on the toilet looking at his phone is also the day that Summer was at the swimming hole? Like, doesn't he sound like he's making it all the same day, but not on purpose, just kind of by accident? I mean, it kind of sounded that way to me that he was like making it all kind of sound like it was the same day. He's like, "Yeah, I believe that's when something happened to Summer, and this is why because I walked in on him. He was sitting on the toilet, and he looked like he was devastated. But that's the day that I got fired, and also it's the day before Summer went missing. So it's like, what?" It's kind of like then it goes in a big circle. But okay, and then I'm going to take you back to the beginning. And this is when he says he's been gone since 2 weeks before Summer goes missing. So I don't know if, like I said, does he mean gone from the property or does he mean gone from the job? Because those are two different things, obviously. But I got to find it because I'm not sure exactly what timestamp is, but I'll try to find it pretty quickly. Mute.
You know, he accused me of writing things on the wall that a meth head would do, and then turned around and admitted that he wrote this shit on the wall of what a meth head does.
Oh, yeah, I heard that. Now I think about it.
You go back to June, he said I wrote all that shit and I destroyed the house, and I did not.
Yeah.
We cleaned the house up, and he fired me.
Yeah.
So from then on, he destroyed the house, made it look bad, and then wrote all that shit on the walls and made it that I did it.
Oh,
So he's already lied to himself, and he done broke that truth out. He done ratted himself out. I'm the trip. He just felt the thing.
well, that's so unfair too. Did you keep in touch with them any after Summer went missing, or did he just badmouth you?
Yeah. When I got my check with my money from him, he come paid me. He shorted me money, of course. We was supposed to make like close to $1,800 that week, and I think I got $300.
What?
So, yeah. And in return, I'm asking him. My neighbor was outside videoing it because I didn't trust it. So I'm asking him how's Summer, and he looked at me like I should have never asked that question.
Oh.
You know, like I was the devil. You know what I mean? When really he's the devil.
Yeah.
They know what happened, and
Yeah.
I can't say what happened, but they try to throw me in a mix. I wasn't there 2 weeks prior to this kid coming up missing.
See, you haven't
Sorry, I was muted the whole time. I didn't know that. Sorry. So yeah, he's saying the property, I think. Right. That's the only thing that makes sense. He wouldn't be saying that he wasn't at work for 2 weeks because 10 minutes later he says he was fired the day before. So, he's saying he hadn't been to the property for 2 weeks before that. But in this interview, then a couple minutes later, he's saying that he was fired. I just played that for you. But let me play for you the part where she's talking about Summer because that broke my heart.
Me, that, yeah, I mean, it was every day. But, I am interested about your day, your work. I said, but I'm sorry, I can't listen about no more on.
Yeah, I bet you got so tired of hearing about him, huh?
Our job, but we do take part in discussing it online, and that's
Yeah, I mean, he would have these crazy dreams he would tell me about going to prison for a long time for doing a bad thing. And I was like, well, what did you do? And he's like, I was beating the shit out of my kids. I hit them too hard.
Oh, this is where
This was before Summer come up missing, so.
And the sister, Candace's sister,
okay, he's
he would mention her.
talking about his dream there.
Yeah.
I told you that he had his own business for 18 years and he's used to working so dark.
Oh.
And I'm like, please, let us go. We went there no more than 10, 15 minutes max. I counted his money. I was like, please count it to verify it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it.
You didn't feel comfortable, did you, Miss Linda?
Not at all. Not at all. I've been rolling my window up. I barely had it cracked, and the kids came out. They're all their underwear dirty. They're running off of a damn walkboard on his house because he couldn't put a pair of stairs.
Oh my God.
Running down a walkboard in their drawers. The girl didn't even have a shirt on. Yeah, with a bald head. And Ray pointed that out to me, which my husband goes by Ray. I don't even call him Dudley, but
okay.
So I call him Ray. Okay. So Ray was like, he pointed him out. Well, his middle name is Raymond, so we go by Ray. Okay. So he pointed Summer out to me. He's like, that was the little girl. I said, you are kidding me.
Yes.
And like, with her underwear, she was a little boy. And whenever we first met up with Washington County, we both said, you need to go back and change that picture of that little girl in that red shirt. That's not what she looks like.
Exactly.
Little girl I saw.
Okay, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Okay. This is the most important thing that I wanted to say. Okay. When they saw Summer, this had to be within 2 weeks of her disappearance because she got her head shaved. That picture of her getting her head shaved was 2 weeks before June 15th when Tiffany Marie showed that picture of her in the chair with her head shaved. Okay. That's 2 weeks before. Okay, so 2 weeks before she goes missing, she's running down the stairs where there is no stairs. There's just a board laying there. They're running out to the car in the dark. She's got her underwear, no shirt, and a shaved bald head. Okay. Then 2 weeks later, she goes missing. And keep in mind, her head is shaved bald. Now it's had 2 weeks to grow in. So it's got, it's probably about this long. When the missing pictures go up, the parents let the pictures be the nicest pictures you can find of Summer, where she looks beautiful in the Christmas dress with the long hair. No, it's okay, Sky. You don't have to type. It's okay. But yeah, she has the nicest pictures and she posts all those nice pictures on the flyers. She gives all those nice pictures. Everybody wants to make flyers. There's a missing kid. Everybody wants to help. First thing you do, you get those flyers out. Everybody can make flyers. Everybody wants to help. We can all do that from home. Get us the pictures so we can make the flyers. Get her picture out there. So, what does Candace do? Or what does Candace and Dawn do? They give the pictures of her looking very nice in that pretty red Christmas dress with her hair down to here. Looks nothing like what she looked like when she disappeared. It does look nothing like what she looked like when she disappeared. Okay? That's my problem. That's my problem. When Summer disappeared, they were more worried about the public's perception of them than they were about finding Summer. If Summer had disappeared or been taken, why weren't they getting the photo out that looked most like Summer? Why were they trying to get the photo out that made them look like the best parents, that put them in the best light? Why were they trying to spin it to make them look the best instead of trying to get the actual most accurate picture of Summer out there? Because now we know that that picture of Summer with her shaved head, that was taken when it was shaved to the skin. Her head, when her head was shaved, it was shaved bald, you guys. If anybody doesn't know, it was shaved completely bald to the skin. And in my opinion, there's no reason to do that besides actual malice. Because if you need to shave a girl's head, you shave it with the clippers with a half inch, a 6 inch, whatever. Even if you're shaving in the summertime, even Candace is, when she does that, shaves up, half her head to make it, you don't shave it to the skin. Who does that? Who ever does that? And little Summer, who chased the women around in church and loved the pretty, beautiful, professional women and played with their long hair and put it over her hair, you know. You're telling me she wanted to be bald to the skin? And how I know that it bothered her is her father said, "Oh, it didn't bother her." Well, if she wanted it done, why even mention that it didn't bother her? Obviously, it did bother her, or there would be no need to even mention that it didn't bother her. Obviously, that's on his mind, that there's a reason to say that it didn't even bother her. It bothered her. And so that picture was taken 2 weeks before she disappeared. When she disappeared, the picture that you want to get out is, look, my child is a unique looking girl. She's a girl that has her head shaved. How many 5-year-old girls have their head shaved? You want to say, even if you think somebody abducted your child, you want to say, look, you're looking for a little girl, but she has no hair. She has hair that's this long. So don't think you're looking for a little girl that looks like a little girl. You're looking for a little girl that looks like a little boy and can be passed off as a little boy. Can be walking through grocery stores and can look like a little boy. Wouldn't you want to say that? Wouldn't that be the first thing that you're saying to the media and to the police? That just seems so obvious to me that nobody was saying that. That didn't even come out. Nobody even knew that until like 2 weeks later, or much, much later. Certainly not in the first day or two. It was shocking when it came out. I know that. So it really bothers me whenever, they say, like, I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? If you can comment. I think that there's a problem. There's a problem. If you really are looking for your child, if you think she's lost, if you think she's taken, you are going to say this is exactly what she's looked like. Think of the Cal City boys, that or in Orson West, right? Those adoptive parents, when they came out, do you remember what they said? We don't have any recent pictures. Yeah, well, the police have our phones, so we don't have any pictures, but we'll get back to you. We'll try to get you something. And then they never did another interview. They shuttered themselves in their home and they isolated and insulated themselves from everybody from that day forward. Why? If you're looking for your children, why in the world aren't you? You're telling me your cell phone's the only thing that you might have had picture. You guys have kids, right? I mean, you guys have kids? If somebody took your phone, or you're telling me you couldn't get on your laptop, your tablet, your backup phones, your old phones that you traded in, uh, your mother's brother's library device, pull up your Google Photos, pull up your OneDrive, anything. You telling me you couldn't find any photos that you took of your kids in the last 2 weeks? In the last 2 days? I mean, I'm following my kid around with a camera 24 hours a day, right? I know you guys are. Thanks, Nikki Giles. I mean, come on, those parents, there's something wrong there. We don't have any recent photos. Oh, police took our phones. Guess we gotta go lock ourselves in our houses for the next 2 years. And then that's, I mean, it's striking, like, the similarities, right? And then you have Dawn and Kane as well saying, "Oh, well, here's a picture of our daughter. Look how beautifully dressed she is. Look how clean she is, and her hair's brushed, and look how good care we take for her. She's at a Christmas party. Uh, yeah, go ahead and find her. She looks nothing like that. How is anybody gonna find her? How's anybody gonna find her? She looks nothing like that. What's the point of putting out that photo? Unless it's just to make you look good. Is it just to make you look good? Is that why you now have a PR guy and a YouTube page and a Facebook page? Yeah, it's really odd. It's really odd. And the oddities just keep stacking up. They just keep stacking up. She's not? She's not on the current FBI's missing person list? What? Wow. I'll have to check that. I did not know that. Wow. It's a cute picture. It's a cute picture. Yeah, I don't, and there was a good point brought up earlier on a panel I was on. Think about this. Dawn Wells and Candace Wells, their criminal history, they've been arrested probably over 2 dozen times together, okay? And then you have the latest right before Summer went missing, a couple months before that, you have Candace called the cops on Dawn. Dawn gets arrested. He's already on probation. He gets a violation for having a gun. Candace drops a domestic charge. He gets out, but he's on probation for that. And then his daughter goes missing, and then he gets a DUI for driving on the wrong side of the road while drunk. And that's a minimum, if he gets found guilty, that's a minimum 11 months in jail in Tennessee. If that's his first one. I don't know if it is. Right? And then he's on YouTube, different YouTube panels every night drinking. He's on video drinking, right? He's on probation. He's on video drinking. And then he's on audio talking about how he was down in Tennessee buying $2,000 worth of drugs and giving it out. Who knows, is that true or not? Is it somewhat true? Is it in the middle? Why? Why is this man out running the streets committing crime after crime after crime when he's on probation and his daughter's missing? Okay, I'll check it out. Here, I'll put it up on the thing. The Wells War. Yeah, but why? Why is he getting away with murder? Is he working for the police? Here's what I've wondered. Is Don Wiles working for the police? Is he a confidential informant? Or are they just letting him hang himself? Like, are they just letting him go on these YouTube shows every night and contradict his story so that when there's an arrest, they can pressure him to either testify to get these charges thrown out? Okay. All the answers are in that channel. 2 live streams from today. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. So, you think Don Wells is a confidential informant? Do you think that he has been working with the FBI and or the Hawkins County Police Department? Because we know that he's been in and out of jail his entire life. We know that he has a criminal record down to the floor. We know that he has run down to Mexico and run with different. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just thought of something, you guys. It just hit me. Is there a possibility? Is there any possibility that if Don Wells had been working for the police, is this just a possibility? Is it possible? I'm just throwing this out there. Don't call me conspiracy. But is it possible that if Don Wells, the reason he gets out of all this trouble, if he had been working with the police, if someone found out he was a snitch, is it possible as a revenge maybe that they would have found out and maybe took Summer to get back at him? I mean, to punish him or something? Is that possible? If you watch Michelle After Dark, if you watch her video, that kind of makes sense. Like it actually kind of makes sense. If you watch her video and you go with her theory and you wonder, but why would someone take Summer? Because she actually thinks someone did take Summer. But if you wonder, well, why would someone take? Yeah, I do too, Skyzy. I love her channel too. And the last video that she put out, it made a lot of sense. It made me think, wow, maybe someone did take Summer. Because I was actually I was really thinking Candace it had to be Candace. Candace had to. But I hate to be closed minded. So I always like to keep an open mind. Like I try really hard not to close my mind up. So, I watched Michelle's video and she made a good case for, well, maybe Summer did get abducted. Not saying that it's not Dawn and Candace's fault, because I believe they're responsible no matter what happened, because your only responsibility in life, if you have children, is to keep them safe. And Dawn and Candace, you did not keep her safe. That is on you. So no matter what happened to her, I believe it's on them. Yep. Drugs, laziness, maybe didn't watch her for 2-3 hours and she wandered off. Maybe she did wander off, get lost, and nobody's found her yet. Maybe 2-3 hours goes by and maybe some sicko did grab her. Maybe it was a revenge because Dawn was working with FBI as a confidential informant for some cartel or something that he had been buying drugs from, got busted with a lot of drugs, and as a revenge, maybe they took his daughter, you know? Anything could have happened, I think, in this case, because it's so unusual. You have these two characters who are actually like fictional characters. They're so out in left field. And you have everything in this case that you could possibly think of. You have essay, you have drugs, you have violence, you have, I mean, it just, you have them giving alcohol to minors and drugs to minors, and you have these so many stories that just are on, like, just really actually hard to believe. And people just keep coming. And then you have a missing sister of Candace's from 10 years ago that's still never been solved. And then you have Dawn, who actually has been running drugs down to Mexico. And then you have all the hoaxes that they've come out with, and you never know what's true and what's not. You have the SDA church over there who's sketch as heck anyway. And then you have the people from the SDA church coming in and out. And they certainly don't act like church going uh, people when they don't know they're being recorded. If you guys want to hear that, watch my live from earlier this morning. That guy, the Sandman, he didn't know he was being recorded, and he called Ziggy, or he called Dawn, and Ziggy was on the phone and she was recording it. And when he found out he was being recorded, tell me this is an upstanding church member. When he found out he was being recorded, all of a sudden his name turned into Jimmy. He's like, "Oh, no, no, I'm Jimmy. I'm Jimmy. Jimmy, working on your car, Jimmy." Okay. That's a liar, is what we call that. Timmy, the Sandman Timmy, you are a liar. So, for whatever reason, he decided to do that. Um, that is shady as shit. And you have that going on. And then you have Candace and Dawn, who can't tell the truth to save their lives, and who get uh, just extremely intoxicated every night. And um, their stories, nobody's timeline matches. Nobody's timeline matches all over the place. Nobody. I try to make a timeline and I'm like, where do I start? Because nobody's timeline matches. But at least now we know Dawn did fire Dudley, and we can get rid of Dudley, and we can start with, okay, he fired Dudley the day before. They both said that. But now, who can prove Dawn was at work? Because he was working with Dudley, right, the day before. But now the day Summer goes missing, who can prove Dawn was at work that day? Because Dudley wasn't there now. Well, that's a shame he fired his alibi. Yeah, very strange. But I wonder who his alibi was now. Because that's who he was working with, right? And if he fired him, I mean, it's awful convenient that he fired him right when he could have been his alibi. Well, I guess maybe not convenient. I guess it depends on how you look at it, right? No one has all the answers. No one has all the answers except the perps of this crime, allegedly. Nick, I blocked you because you spam chats. Oh, that's nice. Oh, does he spam chats? I did not know that. I'm sorry I put that up. I thought you were talking to me. I was like, oh, you blocked me? Why? I thought we were friends, Sky. All right, guys. I'm gonna hop off of here. Happy New Year's next day after New Year's. Hey, do me a favor and subscribe, you guys, if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye, Skyzy. Bye, Skyzy. Bye, Nick G's. Happy next days after New Year's Eve.